Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So Shrikant, do you have any questions regarding yesterday's session? I was sharing the recording session also, so you can download using your Gmail ID. I shared through Drive. Okay, so I thought you don't have any questions. Then we'll go ahead. Okay, so today we're going to discuss about exception handling. So what we call here exception strategy, you can say. So we'll discuss about that exception strategies in MuleSoft. So before going to that, so what is this exception handling? What is meant by error and what is meant by exception? We'll discuss about that. So in Java actually, so we have different types of exceptions also. So first, what is meant by error? So two terminologies are there. So what is meant by error and then what is meant by exception? So we'll discuss about Java terminology here. So similarly, so in MuleSoft also have different types of exceptions. We'll see. So error. So error means if we get any error in the program, right? So we should resolve it. Then we'll go ahead next level, like compile time error. So suppose I'm getting I written one Java program. Then while compiling the program, right, using Java C command, we are compiling the program. So then we'll get some compilation error, right? So that time, so we should resolve that error. Then we have to go. We will go next level until unless we can't continue our program. For clear. If we get the compilation error, so we should resolve the issue. Then we'll go ahead next level. If we get the error, so that is nothing but a compile error or else even runtime error also. Runtime error, it will coming in the running time. So like so two things we do, right? So for compilation we'll use Java C command, we'll compile the program. So Java C command will compile the program. In case of runtime, you have to use, so while running the program, so like JVM time, we are using JVM, then we are trying to running the program. That time we'll get some errors like so if you go compilation error, like your syntax error. Suppose I did mistake in the syntax while writing the code, then there is a mistake, right? So that type of errors are nothing but a compilation errors. Okay. So coming to runtime errors, suppose runtime errors means suppose JVM memory issues. So your memory got full, right? So the type of heap related issues will get runtime error. So in case of exception, so that is the thing actually. If we get the error, we should resolve it. Then we'll go ahead next level until unless we can't continue our program. So but whereas an exception, so no need to resolve it actually. We can handle it. No need to resolve that issue. We can handle it. So there is no showstopper actually. We can go ahead for next level. So once we handle, then we can go ahead next level. Is it clear? That is the difference between error and exception. Okay. Exception is nothing but a runtime error. This is also one kind of error only, but it will come as a runtime. In case of exception, so again we have two types of exceptions. There is a checked exceptions, checked exception. Another one is unchecked exception. Checked exceptions and another one is unchecked exception. Checked exception. Checked exception is it will come in the compilation time while compiling your program. So next one is it will come in the runtime. So unchecked exception is coming under runtime. Okay, that is a difference between checked exceptions and unchecked exception. For example, checked exception is something like file not found exception. File not found exception. Okay, so for example, this one is array arithmetic exception. Okay, these are different types of exceptions. So checked exceptions means in the compile time it will get it. So in case of unchecked exceptions, so it will come in the runtime. So there is no program issue actually. I mean, compilation done successfully in case of unchecked exceptions, but there is some logical issue actually. Arithmetic exception will get, like for example, anything by 0. Suppose 10/0 you are giving in the program, then what happen in case of compilation? We won't get any issues, but whereas in while running the program, so that time logical thing actually. So there is a 10/0, right? There is an arithmetical thing, so that's why arithmetical exception will get it. But so here is the thing, in case of even we'll get the exception also, we'll compile the program, so then we'll run the program, but these type of logical issues will get it actually, that we can handle it. So how we'll handle this exception? So there is a terminology called Tricashflow. These are all Java related terminologies, not saying different new. So try, next one is in the try black. So mention, so total black or total code we have to keep in the try black. So we have to keep it total code under try black. So wherever you are suspecting to get the issues, to get the compilation error or else runtime error, so we have to mention that code. We have to write the code within the try black. Next one is catch. So cache black, what we'll do, whatever the exception we are getting, so we cache that exception. Then if you want to display that exception, we have to display it actually. So e.print stack trace is the method. You can display that particular issue. Okay. Next one is, there is one more black is finally. 3 blacks are there. Try black, next one is catch, then finally. In the finally what we'll do, so we'll close some operations like database connections. I mentioned like closing operations. Like suppose, so you are writing a JDBC program, think like this, Java database connectivity you are writing. So you just open the connection in the try black. You just open the connection in the try black. Once your operation is done, so next we need to close the database connection under finally black. In the finally black, we'll close all the operations related type. Suppose you are using some input stream reader, input stream kind of classes, then you have to close that operations in the finally black. So this is a way to handle the exception. So once we get the exception, so we have to use this type of black, try catch black, then you have to handle that exception.
Okay.
But yeah, Shrikant.
How to decide whether it is unchecked exception?
Shrikant, can you repeat your question?
How to decide whether it is checked exception or unchecked exception?
That's what. So checked exception is coming in the compilation time actually. While compiling the program, we'll get the exception. Whereas at runtime exception, there is a logical thing. Suppose we are doing some calculation. So suppose think like this: your array size is 10. Okay, 0 to 9. Array starts from 0, right? You are clear.
Yes.
So array starts
Yes.
from 0. So your array size is 10. You are trying to insert the element 11th element. That is not compilation issue, right? You are getting.
Yeah.
But is a runtime issue actually. So when your array size is 10, but you are trying to insert the 11th element, then that time what happen, you will get array index out of bound exception, like string index out of bound exception. Okay, so these type of exceptions, and then null pointer exception. So these are all runtime exceptions actually. So there is a logical related thing. So compilation will done successfully while running the program. So we'll get this type of issues. So that is nothing but what we call this unchecked exceptions. Runtime will get it.
Okay.
Okay now. So here is the thing. So again, so we have a these are all Java terminologies. So we have a two
Do we
things
have
here, error
framework
and
in Mule?
yeah, tell me.
Do we have any exception framework in Mule?
Yes, there we have an exception strategy. We'll go for that. I'm just before that, I'm just briefing about Java related things.
Okay.
Okay, now
Go ahead.
here is a error and an exception. So if error will come, we should resolve that issue until unless we can't go ahead to next level until unless that issue resolved, right? Suppose while writing a program, I missed the terminator. So every statement should ending with a terminator, right? In the Java. Okay. Suppose you missed it, then what will happen? Your compiler give error some error box. This is the line number. You're getting some issue. Then you should resolve it. Otherwise, we can't go ahead. But whereas in exception is not like that. Suppose we are getting some arithmetic exception, but there is no showstopper. You can continue, so we can compile the program successfully. Then uh, in case of that, no need to resolve it. Actually, we can handle it. How we'll handle it? There is a one way is using try catch flag. Try within that, you can write wherever you are suspecting that exception will come. You have to keep that statement in the try block. That is one way. Another way is we can keep it whole code also in the try block, no issue. Understood. If you know already where you are suspecting to get the exception, we have to keep that statement in the try block. So if not, if you suppose until unless you compile you run the program, you can't able to know where the exception you get it, right? So that's why people will kept all the code. So whatever the code they written, suppose 10 lines or 50 lines, so they kept whole code into the try block. So in the try block, wherever you'll get it exception, then it will jump to the catch block actually. In the catch block, you have to handle. Suppose I'm getting an arithmetic exception. That exception we have to handle here. You have to handle here. So then what happened? Suppose in your program there is a 10 lines are there. 1 to 10 lines are there in your program. Suppose think like this. There is a second line, third line, you are getting error. You should resolve until unless next lines won't execute. Third, fourth, fifth line, it won't execute. But whereas in exception, what happened? So suppose you are getting a second line, third line exception, right? If you handle that, next fourth line onwards, your code will execute. There is no showstopper actually. Remaining fourth to 10th, your code will be executed. But in case of error, that is not like that. So wherever you get error, it will stuck it. That's it. Until unless it will resolve, it won't execute. Next lines. You are clear. So that's the thing actually here. We can handle either way. We can keep it exception or else a particular exception. If you know what particular exception you are getting, then you can keep it here. If you don't know that, then exception is a superclass for all the exception. So that's why I kept here exception followed by E. Exception is a superclass for all the exception, either it's a checked exception or also unchecked exception, whatever it is. So then finally you can close that finally block some operations, whatever you opened some operation in the program. So then we close that operations in the finally block. This is one way. Other way also there actually. In case of try catch block, so we can mention there is a keyword called throws, THROWS, throws. Whatever the exception you are getting, that particular exception, we can throw them out actually. No need to handle it, just throw them out. You can do like this also. Okay, so this is a Java related thing. So coming to Mule. So do you have any questions as of now? You are clear what is meant by exception? How we handle the exception? What are the ways to handle the exception? What is the difference between checked exception and unchecked exception? What is the difference between error and exception? You people are clear, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, great. What? Do you have any question?
No, no, I don't have any question.
Okay, good. So coming to MuleSoft. So here in the MuleSoft, we have different types of exceptions. So here also. So here also errors are there. So once you will get error, okay. So it will give red symbol or else it will give the red symbol here, right? In the XML code, it will backend. I mean back. So here Shrikant, here three views are there actually. This is the design view. This is a palette, right? Whenever you will drag and drop the component, it will give the design view. Okay,
Okay.
this is the one view. Other view is configuration XML actually. Whenever you drag and drop the component, particular component, what happen? Internally it will generate the XML. You are clear?
Okay.
Suppose
Okay.
suppose you are familiar with XML. Think like this. You are familiar with XML, then no need to see design view actually. You can write the code here itself. It will
Okay.
support you while typing. It will give the suggestions also. So generally associate level, I mean starting level, people will do drag and drop. In the
Okay.
advanced level people will write XML. I mean advanced level means somebody have more experienced people, like 10 years 5 years experienced people, they will write XML directly because they know what component have uh, what we call, suppose here something some component is there, set payload is there, what was a parameter it was expecting, they know. But as a initial level we need to drag and drop all these things so that internally XML is generated. Why I am saying, why I am highlighting this XML? So suppose think like this, some of the UK clients, exclusively UK clients, they won't prefer this Anypoint Studio. So they have
Okay.
some IntelliJ tool. IntelliJ, did you heard about this? IntelliJ tool is the one IDE. It's
Yeah.
like an Eclipse, but there is no drag and drop facility. So we should write the XML code because they won't trust this Anypoint Studio. It's a freeware, right? They won't trust it actually. They will buy genuine one, like IntelliJ is the one of the IDE. It's like a Eclipse and Anypoint Studio only, but there is no drag and drop feature actually. So that time what we need to do, we have tried the XML code only. So whatever that components, right, we have to write it. You are clear? So that's the thing.
Okay.
Either way you can see either in XML view or else either in a design view. So here is three tabs are there. Is a message flow. We can see in a design view. So next one is,
Can get one question?
yeah, yeah, you can
We need to define at a component level or the whole thing at once for this exception strategy.
exception strategy, no?
We need to define for each and every element in this scope or for the whole thing we need to define.
Whole thing actually. Whole
Okay.
thing. We not yet started. Whole thing we have to decide. Actually, here there is an option called error handling, na? See
Yeah.
here, can you see the screen? There is error handling,
Yes.
right? So whatever that
Yeah.
happen in the flow, whatever that happen in the flow, that will come to the error handling.
Okay.
You are
So
clear?
entire flow.
Yes, entire flow. Not only entire flow. So suppose here I am using some subflow. You are clear about subflow. Yesterday we had discussed about a subflow, right? So
Yes.
once it will come here, it will jump to the subflow, right? Subflow have doesn't
Okay.
feature self error handling. Understood?
Okay.
So anything happen in the
Okay.
subflow also, it will come to the main flow. So main flow already we handle it. That will come under main flow. Accordingly, whatever the exception handling, if you handle it accordingly, it will work it. It will catch that particular exception. You are clear?
Okay.
So I told yesterday three flows actually. One is main flow, another one is subflow, another one is private flow. Three flows. Okay. So if main flow have some inbound connector, then accordingly followed by other message process. This is nothing but a message processor. This component is nothing but a message processor. Is it clear? So there is an inbound connector as well as there is a dotted line is there. Right side is nothing but a, so we can keep it outbound connectors, we can keep it message process and all. Then left side is nothing but some inbound connector. Inbound connector, it will receive the input from the consumer, right? Consumer or client. You are clear? So, but whereas in subflow doesn't have input connector, inbound connector. Subflow doesn't have error handling feature. So anything happen in the subflow that will come to the main flow, then in the main flow we need to do cache block accordingly. We need to do exception
How to
strategy accordingly.
convert a subflow into private flow? Can we do that?
Yes, we can do it, but why we need to convert it? First, see,
What is
we
the
can do it.
reason?
That's one. If your code demanded, if requirement demanded, we can do it. Just we can add that what we call. We can add that main flow. Then it will remove the inbound connector. Suppose here I'm removing the inbound connector. How it will look like? I'm just drag that once again. So see this here. If you type the flow reference, subflow. Three things are there, right? Can you see here? Flow
Yes, yes,
reference, then subflow. So if you drag and drop subflow, I'm just drag and drop that subflow. See this here, nothing is, there is no segregation between this. There is no inbound connector, outbound connector segregation, right?
yes.
Now see, I'm drag and drop one more thing here. Now see here, if you see here, source is there, process is there. Can you see
Yes,
this?
yes, yes,
Expand
yes.
this. So this is nothing but a private flow. Suppose you are not keeping any source here. Understood? If you keep a
Okay,
source, then you can write the processor components. Then it's nothing but a main flow. You are clear?
okay,
So if
okay,
there is no connector, but we are adding right side of the dotted line, means we are adding some components of the right side. So then that will act as a private flow because there is no connector, there is no inbound connector. Understood? Who will call that then?
okay.
Your main flow should call private flow or else subflow. You are
Yes,
clear? So what I'm saying here, if anything happened in the subflow also, there is no, if you see here, here is the error handling feature in the private flow or else main flow.
okay,
But whereas in here, there is no error handling feature. You are
okay.
clear? So
Yes,
anything happened here that will come to the main flow. Here is the error handling. We should handle accordingly. But whereas in private flow, here is we can handle separately. You can handle whatever that happen in the flow that will go here, that will execute accordingly. Any exception happen, here you can write it. You are clear? So that is the thing here. Then we'll start that what are the exception strategies, how we'll handle it and all we'll see. So in the Mule, we have different types of exception strategies. In the palette you can see, highlight this palette, see this, we have so many exception strategies here. Okay. Okay, so first we'll discuss about choice exception strategy. Okay, so suppose here in the Java, suppose here we are getting only arithmetic exception. Okay, now, so that time what happened? We have to handle arithmetic exception accordingly. Then it will go next line. So fourth line, fifth line, sixth line code will execute if you handle that exception. Okay, so think like this. In my code, in there is a 10 lines of code, 10 lines of code. In the 10 lines of code, first third line is giving some arithmetic exception. Then fifth line is giving some what we call array index out of bound exception. Array index out of bound exception. Okay now. So think like this. Here you handle only arithmetic exception. There is one more exception is getting, that is array index out of bound exception. when you will get the array index out of bound exception, there is a, you are giving more than the size, that time we will get it actually. So here we are getting two exception. Then how we handle? You handle only arithmetic exception. What about that arithmetic index, array index out of bound exception? So that's why here there is a one try black followed by multiple catch blacks. You are clear, right? There is a one try black followed by multiple catch blacks. We can keep it number of catch blacks. Suppose in my program there is 10 exceptions are getting, you can handle accordingly one try black followed by 10 catch blacks. So here also in the Mule, so there is a choice exception strategy. We are talking about choice exception strategy, right? So in the choice exception strategy, we have to drag and drop the choice exception strategy. Okay. In the choice exception strategy, so we can keep it in the choice exception strategy, we can keep it catch exception strategy. So there is a top, so there is a catch exception strategy. We can drag and drop that catch exception strategy under choice exception strategy. You are clear, right? So there is a, what happened? See this, there is a choice exception strategy here. I just drag and drop the choice exception strategy. In the choice exception strategy, I kept multiple catch block. This is one catch block, and then this is one catch block. You can add multiple catch blocks. So you are clear, right? If people have any question, just ask, raise a question, we'll discuss. If not, I will continue. Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, one question. So like that, we can go ahead for any number of catch blocks.
Yes,
Correct? You know,
yes,
under choice exception.
yes. You can add multiple catch blocks according to you. Suppose you are writing a code, you are getting some java.lang exception, right? Nothing but some, you are giving some database credentials wrong, then you will get some SQL exception. Okay, so then in the flow something happened, then it is giving some message exception kind of thing. So then you can handle that exception. Next, your target system is down, right? That time what happened? Some server give 500 status code, then some network issue, right? So that exception, like a timeout exception, will get it. So you are trying to hit the target system, so but target system, it will take more time. So then we will keep on trying to hit the target system. After some time, we'll give timeout exception, right? So timeout error will get it. So that, like that, we'll get so many issues, so many exceptions based on your requirement, right? Based on your logic. So then whatever it is, so you have to give proper error message to the user, right? Suppose you didn't handle the exception strategy, then what happened, right? Suppose you didn't handle SQL exception, think like that. So a user suddenly the database credentials got changed, but you are using old credentials. Okay, so user trying to insert the opportunity into the Salesforce, or else he is trying to insert one record into the database. That time what happened? Your credentials, somebody changed it, your backend credentials, but you are using old credentials in your middleware. Then what happened? It will give the SQL exception. So that will return to the user. User can't able to understand what is this SQL exception. You don't know about the technology. He's a end user, right? End user don't know about the exception, don't know about that arithmetic exception. If you return that SQL exception, he can't able to understand. As a developer, what we need to do? So whenever your flow will give error, whenever your flow will give exception, we have to catch that exception. We have to handle in the cache flag. We have to give proper error message to the user. So what we need to do, boss, your database credentials got changed. So because of that, we are getting SQL exception. So that type of user readable message you have to give to the you have to frame into the cache flag. Understood? So as a developer, that's we need to do. So see here in the set payload, I'm giving proper the thing, actually invalid input data. I'm giving invalid input data. So based on that, you can able to understand something is wrong in the what we are giving. invalid input, then we are giving what is the detailed error also will give it actually, why we are getting. So that type of detail error also we are giving. So based on that, so generally here there is no, here we are in the middleware. So end user is nothing but whoever consuming our services, right? Whoever consuming our service. If you give that proper error, he can able to understand that he can able to understand, accordingly they will implement it. If people are clear, right?
So here, there is, for example, here we are handling an exception from in the connected convert JSON to go to canvas.
Mm-hmm.
Can you go to canvas then?
Yeah.
Yeah, here, so for example, I want to give some exception handling here in convert JSON to hash map. Okay.
Okay.
So and next again in set payload like that. So is it possible? You got my point, right?
Yeah, you were saying about here using JSON, converting JSON to some hash map. Okay.
Yes.
Then I'm doing some validation
In
here.
another connector.
Huh.
Yeah, it in any other connector, if we want to handle any exception,
Hmm.
so the same way we have to handle,
Hmm.
correct? Then how can it know this exception is for this connector and
That is not, that we can't see that once you will execute the program, execute the flow, then that time we will get it actually. In the stack trace, right? In the console it will display it. Suppose you are not handling SQL exception, right? You are trying to hit the request, but your credentials got wrong. Your console will give error. Your console is there, no? So as a developer, you have to see console. In the console, it will give SQL exception. Then that time you have to keep it. You have to keep it. So here, when you will get that exception, see this, catch invalid data. So when you will get this, so whenever it will caused by java.lang illegal argument exception. So your SQL exception also coming like this. We have to mention like this, exception dot caused by, so java.sql exception. So that time this particular cache block will trigger.
okay.
You're clear? Can I repeat again? See what I'm saying. Suppose you are giving some wrong credentials, but you are hitting to the flow with wrong credentials. With wrong credentials, you are getting database connection, database connector. That time what happened? Your database connector, anyway it will give error. Okay, no?
Hmm.
Anyway it will fail there. Where it will go once will fail. If we handle that, it will go there, right? If you handle SQL exception in the exception strategy, it will go there, it will execute what you written inside the exception strategy. You are clear? So when it will go there, you have to write like this, exception dot caused by java.sql exception, then that time it will go that particular block. Understood? Your flow will fail there, then it will jump to the cache block. In the cache block,
Okay.
in the cache block, we have multiple cache blocks. In the choice, we have multiple cache blocks are there. Where you handle that SQL exception. In the first cache block and the second cache block. So here we mentioned actually. Here we mentioned. So execution, execute when. So here we have to mention caused by what, whether it's a null point exception, either it's a SQL exception. So then it will go there. Suppose any null point exception came in my in the flow. So that time what happened? Where you handle that null point exception, here we handle. Then it will jump to this particular block. Then this set payload will execute.
Okay.
Clear?
Got it.
Again
Yes.
coming back to Java. See here, suppose here I handle two exceptions here. One is arithmetic exception, another one is AIE, means array index out of bound exception. I written briefly arithmetic exception. See, I have a two cache blocks here. This is one cache block, another one is this is another cache block. When this cache block will execute, whenever you will get that arithmetic exception, that time it will jump to this block. Understood? in the 10 lines of code or else whatever the lines of code. So then whenever you'll get arithmetic exception, then it will come to the cache flow. Then coming to your question, how we'll know arithmetic exception will get it or not? Understood. So arithmetic exception, how we'll know? When you execute the program, in the console it will show you. In the console clearly exception will show you. Means what we call stack trace. Print stack trace, it will show you clearly. This is the exception you are getting in the backend. Then what we need to
You
do,
can
we'll,
how
yeah,
if there are multiple flows. Like
where?
if there are 5 flows in our example,
Hmm. Fine.
how to identify which one belongs to which flow, which subflow?
We are using flow reference now.
Particularly in the console, how to identify? We suppose if here multiple subflows, 10 subflows are there.
Oh, you
So
mean
which
to
one belongs
say,
to which flow?
okay, you meant to say we have a multiple flows or multiple subflows, multiple private flows. Then where you get
Yes,
the
yes,
exception you are talking about, right?
yes.
So yeah, that's what actually, see, whenever you're running the program, something happened in the component, that component becomes a red color. I will show you, I will show you in the debug mode also. So it becomes red. That now if I see the focus, when I keep the mouse on that, it will come square shape, right?
Yes.
Can you see this? Now it is that square shape is nothing but a black, right? Black line.
Okay.
Now that becomes red. That is one identification. Okay, now another one is next in your console it will show the line number also. XML line number. Backend is XML, right? Backend is XML, right? It will show the line number also. In Java, what happen? Any issue will get it. It will show the line number. Okay, now, boss, here we are getting some exception. It will show like that, right? So here also that will give XML line number. Here is there, na? Here is there, right? Here it will give red symbol. Suppose I got some issue in the 19th line, right? Here right side in the border it will give the red symbol. Suppose I am not closing here. See here it is a warning actually. If you did something wrong, see this anyway it won't save. Here it will give error actually. Some red color red symbol will get it. It will give error actually. Accordingly we have to resolve it. So identification easy actually. There is no much thing actually. Where we will get which component is giving error, we can easily identify it. The two we can anyway as a developer we always run in a debug mode, right? Understood? Hello? Shrikant, according to your question, so as a developer we have to run in a debug mode, right? For identifying that
Okay.
where is the culprit, where is the issue. Then we have to run
Yes.
step by step. There is a F6, yesterday I was showing you, right? So there is a F6 button, F6, we can press that F6, it will go component by component. So then we can identify where that issue
Breakpoint.
will get it.
Breakpoint. Venkat,
Sorry?
can we set any breakpoint like that?
That's what we can happily set the breakpoint. See this. Right click on the particular component, you can keep it a toggle breakpoint. That
Okay.
facility is there. See, whatever the Java will support, everything will support in the MuleSoft. If the Java is support,
Okay.
it will support obviously in the MuleSoft. Actually, because everything is done based on Java only here.
Okay. Can we
So
use any filter
yes, obviously
in
we can use. That's what here in the palette. In the palette, we have a filters are there. We have a filters are there. We have a transformers are there. You can see,
filter
right?
or exceptions?
Yes, we can do filter. See filter reference.
Okay.
Custom filters also we can write it. Custom filters like we can write the Java code, right? Then there is a components there. Java components you can write it. Okay. Then we can write some exceptions. We can write some what we call enrichment, message enricher, we can do it. So lots of components are there, lots of connectors are there. See this, these are all connectors: Certificate connector, Amazon connector, JMS, JT, MongoDB, Quartz. Quartz is nothing but a job scheduler. So many connectors are there. Okay, clear, right? So next one is here there is a we are discussing about this strategy, exception strategies, right? So these are the exception strategies here. So we discussed the choice exception strategy. In the choice exception strategy, so we have to keep it multiple catch flags. You can keep it in the choice. First we have to drag and drop the choice. Then under the choice you can keep multiple catch flag based on your requirement. So coming to that, how we'll get to know that exception, that we need to see the console. So in the console, or else two ways. In the console we have to copy the caused by what it is exactly. Stack trace we have to copy it. In the condition we can check it, actually caused by this, then do this. That is one way. Other way is while debugging mode, we can able to know what was the issue it is, what was the exception it is. We have to catch that exception, then we have to handle accordingly. In the cache flag, we have to keep it. What is the caused by? You have to keep it there. Then accordingly, what we want to do when you get that exception, you have to mention in that block. So that is two things. So cache black and choice. Next one is another one is something like reference exception strategy. What is the meaning of what is the use of that reference exception strategy? Coming to here, if you see here, I directly written the all these things here. I written all these things. I written all these things here itself, right? There is error handling. Under that error handling, I kept all these things. Another way is just drag and drop that what we call reference exception strategy. So first we need to drag and drop that reference exception strategy here. In the error handling part, we just drag and drop that reference exception strategy. Then in the reference exception strategy, we can refer that other exception strategies. You're clear? It's like a flow reference. In the flow reference, what you are doing, we'll refer that other flow, right? Here also, we have to use that reference exception strategy. We will refer to other exception strategies. Generally, people won't write like this. If you write like this, what happen? Your flow will, it's look like a clumsy, right? So that's why what we need to do, so just we have to drag and drop that what we call reference exception strategy here. Whatever you are writing choice and all, outside you have to write it. You can write it other configuration file also. You can create a new configuration file like this. You can create a new configuration file. Okay, then you have to keep it some global exception strategy file name. You can keep it global exception strategy. Then we are writing outside, right? Then that time we need to refer that, right? We need to refer it. So that time what happened, we need to drag and drop that reference exception strategy. In the reference exception strategy, we'll show that global exception strategy, like subflow flow reference, right? In the flow reference, what we need to do, we'll refer that subflow or else private flow. Similarly here also, in the reference exception strategy, we have to refer that global exception strategy. You are clear? Okay, so that is about reference exception strategy. And these are the frequently used exception strategies: catch, and then choice, and then custom exception strategy. Suppose if you want to create your own custom exception, right? In the Java also that feature is there, right? If you want to create your own exception, then you can create our own exception, right? Suppose think like this. There is a scenario. If the user is age is less than 18, he is not eligible for voting. If the user is age is greater than 18, he is eligible for voting. But in this scenario, whenever the user age is less than 18, I want to show error message to the user. Means I want to throw some exception. Boss, you are not eligible for voting. That is a message I want to throw to the user. I want to show to the user. That time what happen further, there is no specific exception, right? We have exceptions like built-in exceptions like null pointer exception is there, file not found exception is there, array index out of bound exception is there. Like we have some built-in exception. These are all built-in exception under exception class. Exception is a super class. Under that exception, we have so many exceptions, right? These are all built-in, already existing exception. But whatever you are saying, like in the scenario, boss, your age is less than 18, so you are not eligible for voting. So that is nothing but some message, that exception, custom exception, that is not there, right, in the built-in exception. So that's why I want to create my own exception, right? So that time you have to use this type of custom exception strategy. We can create our own exception. Hope you are clear. So next one is similarly mapping. For mapping purpose we will use, then rollback. These are all will one by one will say. Next one is rollback exception strategy. So rollback exception strategy also will use frequently some transactions related. Again, coming back to scenario. So there is a scenario, you are doing some online transaction, okay? So you are doing some online transaction, you are doing some you are doing some payment. So that time what happen internally, there is multiple tables are there. So for first you are doing, whenever you hit the transaction, one record, it will insert the first table, right? Some ID will generate. Based on that ID, it will insert again second record, it will insert to the second table. Based on that, it will insert the third table. Like that, your records, whenever you are doing transaction, multiple records are inserting different tables. That is sequentially. First step is done. In the first table, first record inserted successfully. We'll get the ID. Based on that ID, it will insert the second table. In the second table, once inserted successfully, then it will go to the third table based on that second table insertion. Like this, transactions happen. Think like this. Suppose suddenly first table got inserted successfully, that record, second table got inserted, but third table insertion got failed. Then what we need to do? We have to roll back all the transactions, right? We have to roll back all the things. First table we have to roll back it. Second table we have to roll back. You people are clear, right? In the transaction time. So until unless we'll finish the transaction, so we no need to roll back it actually. Anything happened in between the transaction, we have to roll back all the existing things, whatever happened before the transaction. You are clear, right? So that time you have to use a rollback exception strategy. Any questions?
No.
Yeah, great. So that is the rollback exception strategy. So like I will show you how to write the code in this. So this is the flow here. This is my flow here in the flow. So you are aware of this HTTP connector. Shrikant, if you're not aware any connector, just let me know. I will explain once again. Anyway, I was walk through it. If not aware it, just let me know. I will explain what was the purpose of that particular component. Okay. So here is the HTTP connector.
Okay.
What was the purpose of this HTTP connector? Whenever hit the request as an inbound connector, it is an inbound connector. It will take the input from the consumer. Means here we are the exposer. We are trying to expose endpoint. So somebody else consumers, they are trying to consume it. So whenever they hit the request, that will come to the inbound connector here. So we are using HTTP inbound connector. We have several connectors are there, like inbound connectors, FTP, then some of that you can use JMS, VM, virtual VM also one component is there. So some of the connectors are there, we'll see later. But as of now, this is the inbound connector. HTTP as an inbound connector. Whenever hit the request, it will take the input. Okay, so once we'll get that, I'm trying to convert into JSON to hash map. I'm trying to convert into JSON to hash map, because we are giving some input as a JSON actually in this program. So that's why I'm trying to convert into hash map. So why I'm trying to convert into hash map? If you convert into map, so it is easy to retrieve the values. So think like this. This is the JSON I'm trying to send it. So this is the JSON format. This is one format actually. what we call, this is the JSON format, like XML format, right? We have different formats, right? Like string format, then JSON, then XML, then CSV. Like this is one of the format, JSON format. So how it is JSON format? Observe here, floatback fill start end, then key value. So key also should be in double quotes. Value also should be double quote if it is a string. You are clear. If it is a integer, something like this, that should not in a double quotes. So this is nothing but a JSON. We are sending a JSON, right? So coming back to flow, so we are sending JSON. So it will take the JSON, right? Whenever hit the request, it will take the JSON. Then we are trying to convert into hash map. How will convert it? There is a component called object to, sorry, JSON to object. Here you can type here JSON to object. This is a component. You just drag and drop the JSON to object, right? In the JSON to object, so we have to give the class name actually. A return class is what? So I'm expecting as a hash map. So that's why java.util.hashmap. What is this? Java.util.hashmap. This is coming under collections, right? In the Java. So if you're not aware this thing, just brush up your core Java, like collections concept is there. Just go through it. So you can able to know these things. Java.util.hashmap. So Java is the package, util is the sub package, and that hashmap is the class. Okay, so I'm trying to convert my input into hash map. It will take your JSON file, whatever you are hitting JSON, right? It will take it. So as an object,
Something the HTTP
JSON.
request, Venkat?
Yeah, tell me.
What are the inputs coming from the HTTP request?
JSON. We are giving the JSON.
No, before in HTTP connector. I'm
Hmm.
talking about.
Yeah. HTTP only. It will receive the input, right?
Yeah.
See, it will
So
receive
what is
the
the exact output in HTTP connector? So what are
HTTP.
like metadata? What is the something coming from this?
Okay, this is the HTTP connector actually. So here I didn't mention any metadata on all actually. So that is not required in this flow actually. Okay, no? I didn't return any.
What are the in that request?
Sorry, what are the?
Request fields coming from this one,
Yes,
HTTP request.
yes.
Where to look for that one?
Which one? Data now.
Yeah.
Yeah, whenever you hit the request, right, here some host name and port number is there, no? Host name is nothing but a
Okay.
local host 0.00. Then,
All these are headers, right?
mm-hmm.
All these are headers. I'm talking
No,
about data.
that is not the header. Here is the header. Before that, no headers as of now. See, two things here. So now I am sending as a body this one. You are aware of type of method, right? Type of methods. Post, get, put, delete. You are aware, right? Now I am
Okay.
sending the data as a post method. You are clear. I'm sending the
Okay.
data in the body. I'm not sending any header here. I'm just sending application slash JSON as an header. Okay, now. So this is the body. This is the body is nothing but JSON. I'm not sending any headers here. Only one header I'm sending. That is nothing but application slash JSON, because I'm giving the JSON, right? So that's why I added that
What is the
header.
tool you are using for this one?
Sorry.
What is the tool you are using for this one?
This is Postman client, because why I'm using Postman client, that I will explain. So see this here, using browser we can able to hit only get the type of request. You are clear. We can't able to send the data to server. So we can't able to hit data. We can't able to add body. Only we can do get type of method. So that's why there is a plugin for Chrome. You can add here actually in the apps. We can add it. These are all plugins for this Chrome. I just add this plugin here. So that's why it will come here. Search Google, search in Google Postman client for Chrome, or else Postman client for Mozilla, whatever the browser you have preferred. So there is a plugin, we can add it. So once we'll add it, it will come here. In the apps, it will come here. Just double click it, it will open like this. Okay now?
Okay.
Okay. So, okay, coming to here. So here we are adding as a body actually. So whenever user will hit it, it will come here HTTP connector. Next one is I'm trying to convert into map, hash map. So here what I'm doing, I written on validation. So this is a custom validation. You can type for search for validator, right? So that drag and drop this validation. So a custom filter. So this is the one, custom filter. Just drag and drop that custom filter. In the custom filter, what I'm trying to do, so see the configuration of that. Here I mentioned one Java class. This is my Java class. So this is nothing but a transformer. So I'm returning some Java class here. Input data validator. Okay, so don't worry about this Java. We can write other way also, custom. There is a filter is there, you can do that filter, we can achieve that one also, but here I'm trying to show Java transformer also. So that custom filter, I just drag and drop that. Just in that we can write the Java. So see Java how it will do it. So input data validator, your user defined class name, that should extend from where, filter, because we are doing filter operation here in this, right? That filter component that should extend from input data validator, that should extend from the filter. So whenever extend from the filter, in the filter there is a method is there. So there is a accept method is there. We are going to override that accept method. You are clear, right? So I'm trying to override that method. Whenever it implements, whenever this is nothing but a filter, is nothing but an interface. In that interface contains what? Some methods, right? We're trying to override that method. So what we are doing here, accept of mule message of message. So means what? So whatever the payload you are getting in the previous step, whatever the payload you are getting the previous step, so that will come to the Java class. You are aware, right? You are clear, right? So here what was the payload here? Until here there is a map is the payload. So whatever the JSON you are getting, that JSON convert into map. Now we have a map, right? In the hand, in the flow, now map is running. So here what happened, whenever you use this Java input data validator implements from filter, this method will get it. In that we are accessing mule message of message, right? What happened? What was the message now? That map is nothing but a message. You are clear? Whatever the previous step content is there, that will come to the message. So what I'm doing here, I'm trying to get it message dot get payload. Message dot get payload. Get payload is the method under message. Message is nothing but a reference of this message. Message dot get payload. Then I'm trying to assign it to, I took one variable, that is nothing but I define one map. In that map I took payload, because that message get payload coming as a map, right? In the previous step we already converted into map, right? So that's why I took a map here. I'm trying to assign a payload as a map. You are clear? Okay. So after that what I am trying to do, so observe here item name, units and price. So observe here, email, item name, units and price and membership. Totally have five parameters, right? 5 keys and values. Here I'm doing payload contains key. So this is nothing but a key. Email is the key, item name is the key, then item units is the key, item price per unit is the key, membership is the key. So payload map dot contains key email. If the email is there, then skip it. If not there, so see this, I'm checking condition not. If payload not contains email, then what I'm trying to do, throw new null pointer exception. Intentionally I'm throwing null pointer exception whenever email is not there in your payload. So when it will get true, that one, suppose you are not sending any email here, I'm trying to sending something else in place of email. You're clear? So that time what happened, if the key is not there, you are trying to create you are trying to throw null pointer exception. There is a throw is the keyword, new is, it's nothing but a creating a new object. New keyword is created to new object. So means null pointer is the exception. So null pointer is the nothing but a class, right? We are trying to create a class, trying to create an instance of that message. Actually, email is a message missing. Email is missing. That is the exception class message we are giving. Similarly, we are giving other things. If it is if payload doesn't contain item units, suppose less than 1, suppose -1, 0 are there, less than 1 is there, then that time what happen? I'm giving illegal argument exception. Similarly, like this, item price unit is less than 0, -1, something like that. So I'm giving illegal argument exception. So totally return true. So whenever which one is got success, then I will finally return true. So then that time what happened? Anything is success in this, it will jump to the here itself. Your validation got a fail, then it will go here where you handle that illegal and missing things, null point exception. It will go, it will execute accordingly. You are clear? Guys, do you have any questions as of now?
No questions.
Okay, great. Okay, already 8 o'clock actually. Running out of time today. Okay, we'll close today up to here. Then tomorrow we'll start same thing again. I will explain you. I will run it. I will show you.